Here are the books that I'm going to be reading for August. They're all from my local library. Starting off with nonfiction, which I typically don't read anymore, but I'm trying to get back into. Say Nothing, A True Story of Murder and Memory in Northern Ireland by Patrick Gryden Keefe. So this is centered around a woman who was unalived back in 1972 in Belfast. She was a mother of 10 kids, and one day people barge into her home. She is forcefully removed, and her body's not found, I think, until the early 2000s. The author uses that case to talk about Ireland as a whole in terms of the broader story of the conflicts that were happening internally in Ireland. So this book weaves three main components together: these stories of the perpetrators and the victims, the rise and the fall of the IRA, as well as the emotional and psychological toll that all of these conflicts had with those that resided in Ireland and those that chose to leave. Of course, that being said, this book is very powerful. It is obviously disturbing. It talks a lot about political resistance and also the sacrifices that people make or how they seem to justify their actions through the lens of political resistance. I'm only a couple chapters in, but I'm loving it so far. Another book that I'm reading that kind of ties into Ireland, I can't find it anywhere, but I know it's somewhere in my room, and it better be because it's a library copy, but it's The Traveler and Other Stories by Neville Stewart. I recently finished The Final Silence by this author, and that was like a crime drama, and it's also a book about Northern Ireland. So The Traveler, the one that I have now, is a series of short stories from that author. And mind you, I picked that book up on a whim. Like, I was walking through the shelves of my local library, I pulled it out because I've been in a major book slump. So that one spoke about the troubles and like lingering effects that the conflict of Catholics and Protestants had on the communities, and I wasn't, I guess, really familiar with it, so it's nice that I'm finally getting context to it. But anyway, we'll see how I feel about the short stories. The last book that I have ready for this month is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. This book came out when I was in my early 20s, so I've actually read the trilogy or know what happens in the trilogy many years ago, so it's so interesting to see kind of the popularity that has risen with the Hulu show. I remember finding these books really boring that I didn't end up finishing the entire trilogy, and I much preferred Jenny Han's writing in the To All the Boys I Loved Before series. I thought it was a lot more funny and entertaining, and I thought this one was really dry and boring, but I want to read it again. And this is kind of a risky choice, to be honest with you, because I really haven't been interested in reading any kind of romance for the year of 2025, but this is kind of like young love, YA, summer, not a summer fling, but just like childhood puppy love. Hopefully after I read these three books, we can continue on the path of actually reading. Who knows? We'll see, hopefully.